It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Light Forex Social Trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's 27th of September 2019, 8 a.m. CET, meaning that we are going to cover pre-London Open live only here, Light Forex Global YouTube channel. Piotr is here, my pleasure. Good morning, guys. With euro dollar, looks like the closer we are getting towards the end of the month and end of the quarter, the lower levels we are reaching. Yeah, that's what we are going to discuss today. Cable, dollar JPY, and few more. Before we start, as usual, risk warning, guys. Please bear in mind, trading FX on margin, trading crypto carries a high level of risk, may not be suitable for investors. You can sustain a loss of some or all initial investment, so please do not invest the money you cannot afford to lose. Seek good education, gain experience before risking real money. However, past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Okay. Let's start with oil and gold, then a little bit of the case study. I've been trading DJ yesterday and would like to discuss that. Then we are going to connect with Michał and we'll go through the majors. So let's start with oil. Still quiet, didn't hit the levels we were discussing. So there is a still possibility that finally we are going to trade that scenario, right? Especially that it's a Friday today. So what I've heard from the guys who are trading big on oil, it was usually, Piotr, you don't wanna be short. You don't wanna be short oil Friday afternoon. Doesn't mean that you have to be long, right? Just to be perfectly clear, doesn't mean that you have to be long. But you don't want to be short oil late Friday afternoon because it's easy to be trapped ahead of the weekend, and we know weekends are, many different things may happen. So from that perspective, I'm going to, based on my chart, I'm going to look for this oil around 55.30 or maybe a little bit below. So the scenario we discussed 2 days ago is still valid, but from the higher time frame perspective, also we have to know where we are. There was a failure after the Saudi fireworks with the move above 60. We got back, so the zone in between 59.60 and 61. That's the selling zone for me, with the possibility the prices will go much lower. Let me remove the sizes of this move to the downside to have a little bit clearer levels. Okay, but in case of the continuation, because those two lower shadows, the market was trying to hold this oil. Well, the strange thing is that having those two lower shadows, Asia, Tokyo didn't try to push higher. So that's the strange. That's telling me that those lows here from the 12th of September as well as the 13th of September, those lows might be under pressure and we might go towards 52.80 based on my chart from the oil perspective. But anyway, still there is a possibility it's going to be just the get close and at least attempt to go higher based on this maybe trend line. All right, so watching very carefully oil today, and today I'm watching only from the long side perspective later this afternoon based on this intraday setup we discussed a few times already. Gold actually didn't move yesterday at all, so this scenario is still valid as well. If you remember from the weekly chart perspective, we are at supply, this blue zone over here daily. There is a possibility of creation head and shoulders. It may be not well visible, that's good. The less head and shoulder is visible on the chart, the better. Anyway, the engulf we've seen 2 days ago, and so that's the approach. That's what I'm waiting for this yellow zone. We are staying below the weekly open on the gold, so that's what I wanna trade. Not sure if I'm going to do that if the euro will go home, meaning that late afternoon I'm going to skip that, right? So if there are going to be the spike after the London fix around the euro close, I'm going to skip that trade. Okay, I'm going to skip that trade. Now we were talking DJ few times. 2 days ago we missed by 6 points the opportunity to go short, and yesterday I've been trading this DJ and I almost missed that by less than 6 points. So that's why I decided to go and try to discuss this with you. So here we have the first 5-minute trading range. So first 5-minute trading range, for those who don't know what I'm talking about, usually around the US Open, whatever we are watching, whatever index we are watching, we are waiting for the first 5 minutes, right, for the dust to settle. So that was the first 5-minute trading range. We went lower, all right, and we were so there was no rally, not at all yesterday, right? If you remember, the base scenario yesterday was market maybe will try after the open to go a little bit higher, trying to hit some stops from the pre-market trading. It didn't materialize. We went straight lower, right? And because of the price action we've seen here, right? So day before market close, as well as pre-market consolidation over here, okay? So once we broke this, I've been looking for retest of that broken consolidation and 50%, right? So I've been waiting like this, right? And then those guys, probably they knew, I'm joking right now, probably they knew it that I'm waiting for them, right? It was like 4 points this time and they started to fall. So this time I've been a little bit, I've been trying to chase them a bit, all right? So let me show you this stuff. So that's the screen from that trade. That's the screen from that trade, and that's what was done as an entry, right? Now, my target was around these lows, all right, but I've been aware of this possibility of over under the zone which pushed us higher yesterday, right? The screen was done right before we test that level, but my target was a little bit lower. Now, what was my way of thinking? Let's get back to the platform. What was my way of thinking in that case? All right. When I saw attempt to break lower, because the screen was before we break this, there was attempt to break. When I saw that we are breaking lower, I was quite okay, right? And still been thinking that we might hit my target. But when the 30 minutes candle closed with the lower shadow, right, I took partial profit. I took half here, so it was I didn't close at the very bottom, as many would say to you. So when I saw this lower shadow, I closed a little bit higher. I mean, a little bit higher. It was 25 points higher, right? Than what was the bottom of the day. The rest been stopped out, and I'm thinking of reopening a little bit higher this DJ. But of course I'm going to wait for the US cash open. So it was quite finally I coded this DJ, and that's why I decided to make this case study, where I close it and what happened. So quite okay. There was also dollar yen. I didn't jump in again. But there was a possibility to reopen. If you remember, I've been stopped with 8 pips yesterday. There was a possibility to reopen dollar yen on this 107.50 and this lower shadow. Very similar way of thinking why I closed the DJ. So there was the same reasoning behind the possibility of the open dollar yen. And there finally euro pound hit our levels. And to be honest with you, I missed this by one pip. But it doesn't look good right now, so I would be careful, guys. If you are along based on what we discussed, I would be very careful, and probably I would decide to cut that ahead of the London Open and then watch the London Open and what's going to happen, because euro is getting lower and broke 109.20. So as of now, well, doesn't look good euro overall, okay? But that's what we are going to discuss while we are going to connect with Michał. So please bear with me, and we are going to get back together with Michał within the next few seconds. Good morning, Mr. Michał. I've seen that you have another big cup of coffee today.
Yes. It's
mine is half of that size, of your size.
small belly you have, I think.
I'm sorry?
Or you're sleeping better than me, I think.
Yeah.
Less open position during the night. Something like that. Yeah.
How are you doing? Good as usual.
It's Friday.
Yeah,
so
that's the perfect time. Perfect time. Yeah, weekend is coming, so it's going to be time to recharge the batteries. New quarter is coming, new month is coming, so new opportunities. Anyway, let's have a look what we have based on what happened yesterday. So over to you.
Okay, maybe we'll start from the biggest case, which is the impeachment inquiry of Donald Trump, the whistleblower complaint. And in short summary, We have the Department of Justice officials from the agency of the criminal division, which concluded that, as I can quote, the call did not constitute a campaign finance violation. So also that the Trump's request to Ukrainian president did not amount to a thing of value as the law requires. Okay, again, now better.
Yeah, much better.
Should I repeat or?
If you can, that would be great.
Okay, so that the thing is that there was no campaign finance violation, and that the request of the Trump request did not amount to a thing of the value as the law requires. So I think that as it seems like it's a very big case, and also some of the Republicans said that they will have to dig down into that, and there are very concerning stuff in this complaint. But I think that Trump should be able to defend himself. Even though it after the vote the impeachment will start. So I think that also the other thing, I'm trying to summarize this very briefly, because it's a broad topic, but only the essentials.
But one thing here is that I've seen some surveys late during the day yesterday, and simply showing that simple people, they don't want any kind of the impeachment case. So
yeah, that's the other thing that I wanted to mention later, because the thing is that they need to have a tough proof that the Trump was violating the Constitution, the law, or there was some big concerns about that. But the thing is that the White House representatives were. The comments were saying that in this complaint there are only third-person opinions, or they just it's a simply word. They don't have no evidence, and it's bespoken some stuff accusing Mr. President, right? And they are saying mostly that also the thing that the White House was locking down the release of this call is also a very give me the word, Peter. Concerning, a very concerning stuff. But it's a classified. There are classified stuff that the private. Nothing in the U.S. president conversation can be private. But I think that they are on high level of classifying stuff, that the conversation between two presidents of the two countries. So I think that's just a normal case to prevent not to in any throwing out the accusation situation be published. And the other thing you mentioned, that the people don't want it, is the case that if this will take us several months, it will be in the Trump's favor, that he will gain votes because of the people will be just read that as another presidential harassment, as Trump likes to tweet.
Okay, let's have a look. What was the market takeaway based on the dollar yen? There was a little bit of the sell-off on indices. Dollar yen followed, but the bulls were able to hold 107.40, 107.30, what we discussed. Unfortunately, they didn't went that low, right? We hold by lower shadow. As I mentioned, there was in that case possibility to reopen that long. I've been stopped out at 107.50. I didn't, because I've been trading the short side of the DJ, as I mentioned before. So that would be too much for me. Anyway, trying to hold 107.30, 107.50 on the dollar yen, meaning by the price action towards the end of the session, that we got the chance today to see another higher high, meaning that 108, 108.20 is still possible today. We do have some data which might support this type of the move. We are awaiting durable goods order as well as personal spending, personal income, and core PCE. Plus revised University of Michigan consumer sentiment. So what I'm gonna to look for with this dollar yen stuff, I'm going to look for this pullback we've seen between the Wednesday and Thursday towards this afternoon. I'm going to make that measure here from here to here, taking that from the yesterday end of the session top. All right, so meaning that maybe if we are going to see 107.50 again, so if we are going to retest those lower shadows from yesterday, I might try to decide with 108, 108.20 as a target. Only, guys, this scenario is valid only before the US data is going to be released. So that's the idea. From the long side on the dollar yen, and of course, in case we see straight move to the upside after the London Open towards 108.20, that's where I'm going to look for the selling opportunity. So that's how I see the dollar yen here around, because we might do that way. That's how I see the dollar yen ahead of the London Open. Back to you, Miao.
Today I think I have only the dollar positive stuff to say.
That's how it looks. I agree with you.
Yeah,
the dollar is
very positive for the dollar. And the next thing is that the another chapter in the China-US trade war, that the Chinese the Chinese answered that they bought a considerable, as they said, amount of the U.S. agricultural products, like the soybeans, which we were talking about. It's a very the most important thing in the agricultural products, and pork, which also was sold to the Japanese, which we talked about it yesterday. And the another good stuff for this information is that those products will be tariffs free, we can say. So it's another good goodwill from good action from Chinese side. But they also mentioned that we did well, but we also expect the US to meet us halfway. So they are trying to force Trump to make some move towards the deal. And the information, I don't know, yesterday I didn't think we mentioned that. I also don't remember if you mentioned that, but the talks will be held on 10th of October, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes,
that's correct. So that's another pump the market fake news. Let's have a look, because as you mentioned, and I agree with you 100%. This time, the dollar is beat towards the end of the month, end of the quarter. There was a yesterday rejection around of the retest of the Monday low, rejected. We are breaking the low created on the 12th of September, sorry guys, and the low was here at 09.27. We are right now trading closer to 109. I'm going to watch carefully in case of the retest of this 27.38 level. So in case we are going to retest the low from this 12th of September, and if we are going to try to close the gap between now and what we've seen 2 days ago on Wednesday, in that case it's a 38, as I mentioned. I'm going to look for the possibility of continuation of the move to the downside. Now it's only valid again towards the London session. Why I'm pointing this out? Why I'm saying about that? Because guys, later during the day, if we are going to see the continuation of the stronger dollar from here, I don't want to see any kind of the big profit taking towards the end of the day, because it's gonna be easy to be trapped. And we have to remember that it's right now, this is the specific period of time where we are approaching end of the quarter, end of the month, so unusual action might be seen done by those big guys, especially when the only US will stay on the market after the Europe close. So I'm going to watch that very carefully only during the London session. We are moving much lower, and as I mentioned, I'm watching 27.38 from the selling perspective. We will see how it go, and that's one of the reason I mentioned I don't wanna be long euro pound right now, right? So be careful, guys, if you are trading based on our scenario. So still you are above the entry. I would think about reducing or doing something with that position, because euro doesn't look good after the break of this 25. I don't know if the situation will change within the next 1 hour or so, but that's how it looks for now. Trying to also check the situation via Chinese yuan, based on what Michał said, that the Chinese were the buyers of the US stuff. That's the one thing. The second thing is that they are going to get back into the to the talks on the 10th of October. But the dollar Chinese yuan saying a little bit different story with this move back of the previous week above 710. Right now we are facing the possible supply between 714, 715. That's the latest move to the upside here. So yeah, I think that watching the dollar Chinese yuan is very good thing right now, because this cross is telling some stories as well. So for now everything is positive towards the dollar, as you mentioned, and I agree with that. Again, a few big banks, analysts from the few big banks were saying that dollar is gonna be sold off towards the end of the month and end of the quarter, and at least for now, again, it looks like they were wrong. Back to you, Michał.
Yeah, another thing I want to add at the end, it's that we might have another, we can say a player in this trade war, because of Canada is looking to more likely lift the tariffs on Chinese goods. And quickly explanation. The thing is that the first of all, the Canadian feels dragged into this trade war because of the Huawei. Give me a second.
Huawei case. Okay, we know.
Huawei case. Yes. Okay. It was that some of the board member or the daughter of the board member was arrested, and it was on the request of the U.S. officials, U.S. side. So right now, and also the rhetoric in the in the media and the situation is in the Canada feels like the Canadians are more likely to be agreed with the US side that the Chinese are a big threat. With the stealth of the of this tech and other stuff. So, and the thing is that after they were dragged, they are in this situation that they seems like they have to, pick a side. And the thing is, hi Zizu, I think that the case is, more likely, that they will choose US because of the trade, trade amount which they are, which is uncomparable between China and the US. The China is the second largest importer of the Canadian goods, but guys, it's only 4%, and the trade with the US is like $714 billion, and with the with the China is around 60 or between 60 and 70. So yeah, I think it's a pretty clear situation. Also, the Canadian officials said that the thing is with the case with the Hong Kong also is very important, because the 300,000 of Canadian citizens live in the Hong Kong, and they said that if the armed police officers will be still acting in the city, they will change to the hard stance against China, that they would want to protect their own citizens. Yeah, and that's in the quick summary the case with Canada.
Thank you, Michał. It's not surprised that Canadians are backing what US is doing, as they are very close neighbors. So that's especially that because of trying to avoid that Trump is punishing them for something. Anyway, let's have a look what we have from the Canadian dollar perspective. Here is a USD CAD monthly chart. As we can see, is supported around 130 psychological level. So it's what we've seen here in 2009 March, right? The huge top. Then we are back again trying to hold this level. We hold that level twice this year, January, February, and again June, July, trying to build a little bit of the lower shadow on the monthly chart. So taking into the consideration what we have on the monthly chart, I think it's middle of the way between the bottom and the top of that range. So it's like a little bit of the nowhere right now, and very, very narrow range of this last 3 months, very narrow range. Let's switch to the weekly chart. Here is very, very similar. We are still, I think that this price action here, the strong move to the downside, is dictating what is going on here right now on the USD CAD. Middle of the nowhere, 3 weeks ago, rejection around 34, very tight, getting even tighter, so it's inside, almost like inside. So each week of the last 4 weeks is narrower. Of course, something is cooking, and at some point we are going to see some kind of the either breakout or breakdown. It's better visible from the daily chart perspective. Yesterday, attempt to break lower through 30 didn't materialize. It's 3 days in a row we're trying to break, right? So if you remember what we were talking about previous week when I've been trying to explain euro dollar, we were staying on euro dollar. If you remember, we were staying under the weekly open with 3 days in a row. There was a effort to push it higher, right? But they didn't. So I advise you guys, maybe that's not good, I cannot advise you guys, but I've been trying to explain those longs on the euro dollar, they are going to simply run away, get rid of that position, and that's what happened, right? And similar story might be here. They were trying, the bears were trying to break this 32.30 Tuesday. There was a Wednesday, yesterday, right? So if there are any shorts left, they will have to get rid of that, trying to clean the books, not only because of the end of the week, but it's also possible that because of the end of the month, end of the quarter. So I'm not gonna be surprised if those upper shadows this time are gonna be cleared, so some stop count, and we might see a little bit higher level towards the low, which has been created at the 3rd of September. In that case, we are talking about the 33.20. So let's switch lower. Let's have a look what we have here. And as you can see, the yesterday late price action push it higher. And it might be the case if we are going to hear something more about this time Canada, China. We might see a Canadian dollar weakening because that's gonna be treated as another trade war. Well, this level is worth to watch today. In case of the pullback, we are talking about the 32.50. If we are going to hold that level higher towards 33 and those stops over here. That might be the case for USD CAD. Michał, thank you very much for your inputs. It was the pleasure to have you here. Let's recharge the batteries and let's meet again on Monday. Have a great weekend, Michał.
Same to you guys. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you. Goodbye. Alright, so the cable is the last chart we are going to discuss today, and it's very, very tricky, guys. There is a possibility we are going to have demand here around 2260, so it's a little bit still a little bit to the downside, right? And then the supply required didn't hit yet. If you remember, I've been talking that I'm looking to sell around the Monday low. We didn't quite get there, right? So I'm gonna to watch this 2260 from the intraday perspective to try to maybe, depends on the price action I'm going to see there on a lower time frame. So once we are going to approach 2260, I'm going to switch to lower time frame to trying to see if there is anything telling me that the longs have sense over there, right? On the other hand, if we are going to see the rally towards 2420, that might be the Monday low. That might be the opportunity to try to short it, right? So a little bit wider than usual, the range could be the case here. So let's switch to the intraday chart. What I would like to see, talking about 2260, because we are testing still the bottom of that possible channel here, right? So in case of the move to the downside, it might be done via very steep channel, right? Same what we have here 2 days ago on Wednesday. All right, so that could be the case for the cable. In case of the very aggressive approach, 2350 and upper shadow, trying to visualize that, could be the case here, right? So let's say 15 minutes candle like this, where we're trying to cross this 50 and rejecting, that could be the case. Very similar to what we had yesterday on 15-minute chart, probably, if I'm not mistaken. Here, 1 second. That was the break. And I'm talking about that one here. That was the very similar. So I'm going to look for similar pattern in case of the very aggressive approach. Hi ZZ. We were talking about the gold at the very beginning, so you can rewind to the beginning. Looking to sell on this within this yellow box, all based on this supply from the weekly chart. That's the supply from the weekly chart. Rejection, another rejection, intraday, possible head and shoulder, engulf on Wednesday. So that's the yellow box is my supply zone. The stops above 31. So I'm looking to sell between 17.22, stop above 31, and targeting 14.40, 14.15. But there are two conditions. First, I do understand that demand is around 1485, 1480, and in case of the turnaround around this level, I'm going to run away from my short. And the second thing is that this scenario, today is valid only through the London and ahead of the US data. So after that, if I'm not gonna be filled, after that I'm gonna to skip the idea and wait till Monday. So that's the goal. Guys, thank you very much. It was my pleasure to be with you this week again. Let's recharge the batteries. Have a great weekend, guys. And we are here again on Monday, and I do promise, as usual, that market will be open. So there is no reason to try to chase something today, because if you were doing well this week, you don't wanna lose whatever you have. And if you, unfortunately, if you were not doing well, probably Friday, especially when there is a end of the quarter, end of the month coming, so probably Friday is a not great day to try to make the recovery of the whole week. Again, have a great one, guys. Be careful, don't be trapped, and see you again on Monday. Goodbye.
It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Light Forex Social Trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.